Hello and welcome back to another another edition of Rev After Dark. It's winter time, February, and we just don't have the daylight hours. And had a couple of snags on this bike, so it's after 6 o'clock and sun has already set. So another video under my porch light. All right, so let's get into this. So this is a Trek Madone that I did a video on for a pre-service assessment. So the basic stuff on this bike was some shifting issues, and I mentioned that the chain, everything I'm going to talk about is referenced in that other video, so I'll only say it this one time. The chain was not cut to the correct size. It was too long. And then I also was wondering if the spring on the main spring on this rear derailleur was functioning properly, because the chain just wasn't taut enough. But the mainspring was good. It was just that the chain was too long. We fixed the shifting issues. We had not a chain dropping issue, but a potential for chain dropping, because it was just too much gap in the front derailleur to the inboard side. Did a drivetrain cleaning on this, so look how clean that cassette came up from the previous video. Nice and clean. So got that cleaned up. Then we replaced the 25 tires with 28 tires. And I think this gentleman is going to enjoy the ride quality significantly. It's just so funny how 3 more millimeters, and then you drop another 5 psi of pressure, 5 to 7 psi of pressure, and you end up with just a much better ride quality. We also had a front tire that was a TTR, which I mentioned that it's a World Tour level time trial tire. So not something that should be used for everyday training and racing, for regular riding in city streets. So we replaced that with an STR, but we replaced both, right? Because he was riding 25s. And so one thing I want to mention about these wheels, which I own a set of this 60 millimeter, and I also own the set of 46 millimeter. They have internal nipples, and there's videos out there where I just have displeasure for hidden nipples. But that's the thing, when you're looking to optimize the aero capability of a wheel, you just start doing all kinds of things like that, right? So you get the bladed spoke, then you hide the nipple, so on. This is a very good wheel set. The spoke count is really low in the front, so that's going to be aero. But yeah, let's talk about one of the major issues that I had with this bike during the service. On a tune and clean, so we do a drivetrain cleaning, but then I also pull the fork out to inspect the headset bearings. The bottom bearing, as usual, was bad, and lots of corrosion, and it was gritty. But the compression plug that comes down inside here, there was an issue where the bolt seized. So in other words, this bolt here that you would tighten to secure your headset or to adjust your headset, I'm holding the front brake, that bolt was seized to the bolt that goes on the inside that spreads the inside, right? So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so this bolt here will spread that, because this is conical shaped. See that? So as this bolt here for the headset, once that starts to screw in there, it starts to spread that. Now, if I had someone else to film and help me film this, I could show you how that all works, but I need two hands to do that. But anyway, this bolt here was seized to the bolt that you use for adjusting the headset. So, not cool. And luckily the customer was available, and he drove over to the Trek store to pick up another another compression plug, and I was able to continue working. But it's a pro tip, I guess, or a maintenance tip for today. Take out this bolt here, especially if you know you're a heavy sweater. Now, I know that in the past, someone in a previous video has said, what do you do? Because do you recommend, I think it was something like, do you recommend a different type of headset? Because my headsets are always getting corroded and getting notching. I got to replace them all the time. And I'm like, well, if you're a heavy sweater and either you have your bike on your trainer or you're riding out on hill climbs and you're not going fast enough to get the sweat to come off of your brow and blow behind you, and it starts to fall here, I mean, you just have to service your headset frequently so that all this stuff does not corrode. Top bearing, all these pieces should be free and movable at any time that you need to readjust your headset for whatever reason. So I'm really pleased with the way this bike turned out. Like I said, just a few little snags here and there, but other than that, just a great package, as I mentioned in the previous video, that it's just a good package. It's an all-around kind of bike, in my opinion. You also have this camtail design here, so that will allow your water bottle to kind of hide behind that down tube. Camtail was very popular for a while. I don't know what they're using now for design to incorporate aerodynamics into an all-around road bike. For a little while it was, super lightweight bike, and then your aero bike, and then now, they keep trying to make a bike that does it all, and just whatever it takes to sell bikes, right? Because I do want folks to find a bike that motivates them to ride, a color, a design, an aesthetic look to it, so that they can ride and they're happy, and then they can come through and get their bike service. And then last thing before we go, this particular crankset was an LI production code, so that's part of the inspection that's required. So I took the crankset completely apart, chain rings, pedals off, and you have to submit a form that that you did the inspection. Now, I'm always a little leery about doing that because I'm just like, yeah, I checked good today, but what if, 6 months from now it becomes unbonded? So I don't know. Also, for the record, I've really only seen one crankset, and I believe it was a 6800. It's, many years ago, before the recall ever came about, but I was just like, wow, this is weird. But that's the only one I've ever seen, and I ride Shimano cranksets exclusively. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're getting some value out of these videos, please subscribe to the channel. The stats are actually quite depressing. It's 78 to 80% of the people that watch my videos are unsubscribed. So please subscribe. Please share my videos as well. And I look forward to seeing you up the road.